to explain. It has not been the rip-roaring spectacular I fancied it would be, but neither have I burrowed around with the gophers. I suppose it has most resembled a blue chip stock. Fairly stable, more ups than downs, and gradually trending upward over time. A good buy, a lucky buy, and I've learned that not everyone can say that about this life. But do not be misled, I am nothing special. Of this I am sure. I am a common man with common thoughts, and I've led a common life. There are no monuments dedicated to me, and my name will soon be forgotten. But I've loved another with all my heart and soul, and to me this has always been enough. That's beautiful. The romantics would call this a love story. The cynics would call it a tragedy. In my mind, it's a little bit of both, and no matter how you choose to view it in the end, it does not change the fact that it involves a great deal of my life and the path I've chosen to follow. I have no complaints about my path and the places it has taken me, enough complaints to fill a circus tent about other things, maybe, but the path I've chosen has always been the right one, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Time, unfortunately, doesn't make it easy to stay the course. The path is straight as ever, but now it is strewn with the rocks and gravel that accumulate over a lifetime. Until 3 years ago, it would have been easy to ignore, but it's impossible now. There is a sickness rolling through my body. I'm neither strong nor healthy, and my days are spent like an old party balloon, listless, spongy, and growing softer over time. I cough, and through squinted eyes I check my watch. I realize it is time to go. I stand from my seat by the window and shuffle across the room, stopping at the desk to pick up the notebook I have read 100 times. I do not glance through it. Instead, I slip it beneath my arm and continue on my way to the place I must go. I walk on tiled floors, white in color and speckled with gray, like my hair and the hair of most people here, though I'm the only one in the hallway this morning. They are in their rooms, alone except for television, but they, like me, are used to it. A person can get used to anything if given enough time. I hear the muffled sounds of crying in the distance and know exactly who is making those sounds. Then the nurses see me, and we smile at each other and exchange greetings. They are my friends, and we talk often, but I am sure they wonder about me and the things that I go through every day. I listen as they begin to whisper among themselves as I pass. There he goes again, I hear. I hope it turns out well, but they say nothing directly to me about it. I'm sure they think it would hurt me to talk about it so early in the morning, and knowing myself as I do, I think they're probably right. A minute later, I reach the room. The door has been propped open for me, as it usually is. There are 2 others in the room, and they too smile at me as I enter. Good morning, they say with a cheery voice, and I take a moment to ask about the kids and the schools and the upcoming vacation. We talk above the crying for a minute or so. They do not seem to notice. They have become numb to it, but then again, so have I. Afterwards, I sit in the chair that has come to be silently for the strength I know I will need. I have always been a firm believer in God and the power of prayer, though to be honest, my faith has made for a list of questions I definitely want answered after I'm gone. Ready now. On go the glasses. Out of my pocket comes a magnifier. I put it on the table for a moment while I open the notebook. It takes 2 licks on my gnarled finger to get the well-worn cover open to the first page. Then I put the magnifier in place. There is always a moment right before I begin to read the story when my mind churns and I wonder, will it happen today? I don't know, for I never know beforehand, and deep down, it doesn't really matter. It's the possibility that keeps me going, not the guarantee, a sort of wager on my part. And though you may call me a dreamer or a fool or any other thing, I believe that anything is possible. I realize the odds, the science, are against me, but science is not the total answer. This I know, this I have learned in my lifetime, and that leaves me with the belief that miracles, no matter how inexplicable or unbelievable, are real and can occur without regard to the natural order of things. So once again, just as I do every day, I begin to read the notebook aloud so that she can hear it, in the hope that the miracle that has come to dominate my life will once again prevail. And maybe, just maybe, it will. It was early October 1946, and Noah Calhoun watched the fading sun sink lower from the wraparound porch of his plantation-style home. He liked to sit here in the evenings, especially after working hard all day, and let his thoughts wander without conscious direction. It was how he relaxed, a routine he learned from his father. He especially liked to look at the trees and their reflections in the river. North Carolina trees are beautiful in deep autumn. Greens, yellows, reds, oranges, every shade in between. Their dazzling colors glow with the sun, and for the 100th time, Noah Calhoun wondered if the original owners of the house had spent their evenings thinking of the same things. The house was built in 1772, making it one of the oldest as well as the largest homes in New Bern. Originally, it was the main house on a working plantation, and he had bought it right after the war ended, and had spent the last 11 months and a small fortune repairing it. The reporter from the Raleigh paper had done an article on it a few weeks ago, and said it was one of the finest restorations he'd ever seen. At least the house was. The remaining property was another story, and that was where he'd spend most of the day. The home sat on 12 acres, adjacent to Bryce's Creek, and he'd worked on the wooden fence that lined the other 3 sides of the property, checking for dry rot or termites, replacing posts when he had to. He still had more work to do on it, especially on the west side, and as he'd put the tools away earlier, he'd made a mental note to call and have some more lumber delivered. He'd gone into the house, drunk a glass of sweet tea, then showered. He always showered at the end of the day, the water washing away both dirt and fatigue. Afterward, he'd combed back his hair, put on his head.